Hi, folks. Glad to have you here. I have one special guest, a friend of mine for, I don't know, maybe 15 years that this woman came into my life. She's a super mortgage professional, and she's going to be visiting with us today, specifically because of what's going on at. Welcome to Park Bench, first of all. Normally, these conversations would be at someone's office or sitting on a park bench, but because of the situation that we're in right now, that we all are practicing safe distancing, social distancing, we're going to have a great webinar with this wonderful woman, Suzanne Caldeira, in her space of mortgages. And she's going to be able to answer some questions for the small local business owners who might be struggling as to what are we going to do? What are we going to do in terms of keeping our doors open? How can we keep them open without going into some financial debt? Should we wait for the $1 trillion or $2 trillion that is coming from the government? And in 10 minutes or less, we're going to answer those questions. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my good friend, Suzanne Caldeira, and she's going to introduce herself, her history, and we'll just get right at it with some great questions. Welcome, Suzanne.
Jay, thanks so much for having me. We were talking before we started of how I got into the business, so I'll share if that's okay for the people that are hanging on the bench with us. I got into the mortgage industry in 2001, and big reason for me at the time was quality of life. And I got into it after the dot-com bubble. And I remember my old boss saying, "Why are you leaving retail?" I said, "I just don't want to work Sundays." And then the '08 crash happened, and 10 years into it, I said, I feel like I've aged 30 years, and now you add a contagion to the mix. And I can never say that I've never seen everything. So it's definitely some uncertain times, and I think dealing with someone that has experience, whether it be a realtor like you or a lender like me, just knowing their background, not for them to be bragging, but just for them to know, like, hey, they can lead you through this uncertain time.
That's excellent. Now, at the beginning, I always like for you to plug yourself so people may not have to go to the end or look for it. Can you give everybody your contact information in 30 seconds?
Yeah, absolutely. So best way, 401-480-3670. Or another way is Suzanne, Suzanne dot Caldeira at rate.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, folks. Now you have your contact information. You're going to hear some nuggets from Suzanne. The first question I'm going to throw out there, I think it's a big question, is what should a small, medium-sized business owner do during this time where they might be locked out? Should they be speaking to you? Should be waiting for the government? Should they potentially refinance some of their huge equity in their own home to sustain the business, et cetera? Can you give us a few ideas on that subject?
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. I think for the small business owner, for sure, speak to somebody like me because cash is king, and that's something that we're learning. And I think you and I both learned it back in '08 when that happened, when um, you weren't able to refinance and you weren't able to tap into your home's equity. How do you get that? And right now we're still in a really good time with values still being up. And I may advise to clients say to them, hey, listen, I'm not your best fit. I think you're better suited getting a home equity line, or I may talk to them about doing a cash out refinance. I have two business owners that I'm currently helping right now, taking a real big chunk of money out. It's supposed to be for home repairs. I'm not sure if that's what they're going to do, but they're going to have that money within a matter of a week or two and be able to make the decision. And I know for some business owners, having liquidity right now is huge.
That's awesome. I agree wholeheartedly. What they do is their business. Fact is, it's taking the pressure off. If they can sustain and continue to pay their employees, even if it's half their weekly paycheck, it's better than when things become normal and then they have to go look for employees because those employees have left them. And I think that's a strong sentiment that's going around with BNI groups and mastermind groups and chamber of commerce groups and things like that, where people are getting together and saying, okay, what is best for all? Someone the other day called me and they said, yeah, I'm going to be foreclosed on. I said, well, tell me more. And he said, well, they're coming after me. I said, well, if the registry of deeds are not open and the courts are closed and there's been a moratorium throughout the state and United States, get in line. The banks are going to get in line, and they're not going to want to foreclose on everybody who's been delayed on a payment. Anyway, I reassured him, and he just woke up by saying, I've been worrying about this. I said, yeah, these are uncertain times. These are total different times. It's not as if you're missing a payment when things were great. That's when they'll foreclose on you. But that's what you're so good at, because I love your demeanor. I love your calmness to help people ask these questions. And Suzanne's an open book, folks. You can text, email, give her a phone call. She'll get back to you. I've been seeing this and witnessing this conduct for years, and it's a pleasure. And that's why she has sustained the ups and downs in the marketplace. Tell us a little bit about your perfect client when this does pass, so we can get people ready if they want to get back into the buying mode come July or October or even late November, etc. Tell us your perfect client.
I'd say definitely my perfect client is someone that's open to the advice and also transparent in their situation and what their goals are. And someone that's astute, knows how to do their own research, knows somewhat how to be tech savvy. I think one of the great things about being with a company that we're a direct servicer and seller to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae, which handles the government loans. And for some clients, you go back a few months ago, I wasn't even talking to people about that because it's like big deal. But right now it's a big deal because as they make changes, we're able to adapt to those changes very quickly. And by having the adaptability to do that, we can actually do a closing without no physical human contact. Think about that. And think about the advantages of that. Now, once we get back to human contact, I can't wait. I'm dying to meet people. I can't stay serious for too long. Like I am a business mullet right now. I'm business up top, but there's a party on the bottom with my with my leggings on. And to get back to the question, I know I veered off a little bit, but it's just somebody that is going to be open to the advice and to listen to that. I'm not the best fit for someone that just wants to go online and press a button and get a mortgage. There's a market for that, but I think somebody that's open to the guidance is definitely my ideal client. And whether it be that they're buying a home or refinancing.
That's excellent. And sometimes news can be overwhelming. I've shut off the radio. I've shut off the TV. I'm really focused on self-education. And my peers, whether it's Grant Cardone, Cody Bateman, my wife, Stacy Alcorn, it's surrounding yourself with that kind of mentality. As an example, have we all heard that home prices are just too expensive and that the millennials are being shut out and they can't even buy a home? Well, the opposite is happening now. Prices might come down 10, 20, 30%. That would be good news to get those buyers off the fence and say, now you can afford these homes. And therefore, it's the way you present the material. It's not to manipulate, it's by looking at it with a different lens. And that's what I get excited about from, doing something like this, bringing this valuable platform, introducing Suzanne to 2,000 or 20,000 people, allows people to say, this is the stuff that I want to digest, drink, and eat, instead of all that negativity out there. We have a few minutes left. I know you're a big reader. Name some coaches or some books that you would, give to the audience to say, if I had to stay home for 3 weeks and Ocean just got word that Littleton schools are closed to May 4th, talk about the blizzard of the century if you're a 10-year-old. But share with the audience what you might recommend. That you go to Audible, they go to Barnes & Noble, they go to Amazon, they go somewhere to pick up a book or an audiobook. What would you recommend?
I'll tell you, I just became a fan recently of David Goggins, who wrote,
I just got that Audible.
Oh man, he wrote Can't Hurt Me, and absolutely love it. We're going through a challenge right now, and this is a time where the cream rises to the top, and I really feel like I'm living 2008 all over again with a virus. And I think the emotional thing for me, like back in 2008, I made the decision. I'm not going to watch the news. I read the book, The Secret, going back in 2008, and it really helped me get through that, put my head down, worked harder. It was really, really difficult times. I had many moments saying, geez, how are we going to pay the mortgage? And we just worked, and we gutted it out. Yeah. And now having a better brain, having a little more wisdom, there's so much more stuff that's out there now. Like think about YouTube. You're the product of what you consume, just like what you put into your body. Right now, this vessel is all that we have. And if you're spiritual or you're into God or whatever you're into, rocks or whatever, make sure that you're taking care of this, whether it be the stuff that you're putting in the mind. And I think That's one of the things that I've always admired about you since I met you day one, saying, I love this guy. There's been many times, you don't know how many times you've picked me up just from talking to you and sharing your mindset, even in some of the darkest times that you even had in your business. And I think that's the thing about a business owner and a leader. Leaders are readers. What's that saying? A students work for C students. I barely graduated high school, did a little bit of college at a trade school, and have managed to have a fair amount of success in my life because I've become a student of my craft and of my industry. So, you got to sometimes find those times, and you're going to have times that are tough. This has definitely, for me, been somewhat of an emotional time because of, on one end, business is amazing. But then on another end, I've got some clients and some people peripherally going through some really tough times. I got my mom stuck in Florida. She can't come back home. So it's just, there's my in-laws down there. So, but I think keeping your circle small and keeping the people around you that lift you up, those are the people that you want to be around. I made a decision on Monday to not watch the news anymore. I told my wife, Monica, I'm like, that's it. I'm sorry. You have control of the remote. I will read my news. I have no interest. Not that I don't have interest in what's going on, but I'm going to consume it on my own time. And I'm going to work on staying positive and looking at the good stuff. Last key piece, the past few millennials, although I hate putting people into buckets, but the past few millennials that have been referred to me, talk about really, really bright kids who are inspiring and who are still going forward and buying homes and, give me hope on what I do on a daily basis.
That's awesome. I would be remiss if I didn't stop and say, talk about, can you see that? Well, if you can or cannot see,
I see it.
That's the book that downloaded just 2 days ago. And that's just an example of just maybe the vibrational tone. My good friend Dala talks about that to me. I need to continue to get on vibrational tones that are beneficial rather than sometimes as a coach or a parent or a father or mother or an uncle or an aunt or something like that. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome feedback from me, Dala. I appreciate that. But you just referencing the same books that we're both reading and now we're on this platform just speaks chapters, if not books and volumes of, what together we have done and can do. Thanks please don't make comments while we're doing this. We do have this thing live and there's over a number of people. We appreciate the comments. We're going to get this recording out and we only have a few more minutes. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to end it by saying thank you all. We're going to have this up on Park Bench so you can re-watch it, get inspirational, obviously get in touch with Suzanne for any simple question. Let's end it by throwing out your phone number and your email address, and please give Suzanne a call when you can.
Absolutely. 401-480-3670 or email, I'll spell it out. It's SUZANNE.CALDEIRA@rate.com.
Awesome. Suzanne, stay there for a second. I'm just going to stop this recording. We'll finish up. If you have any questions, you can always contact me, 617-699-7442. Thanks for watching here at Park Bench with Jay McHugh. If you'd like to be a guest on this, would love to hear from you, love to meet you, and just love to help you in your business, particularly in this time. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great day, a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next Park Bench. Cheers.